What's up? What's happening? And welcome back, man. I'm gonna give a quick recap. So, for you that maybe didn't know, we went live during the trading session today. I took a few trades live. I've started a take profit trader combine evaluation, and so took a couple trades. We ended up being positive, up 1600 actually for the day. But what I wanted to just come in here and just kind of do a quick recap. I will not be long at all. I'm gonna go through it fairly quickly, but we'll go step by step. So I'll definitely talk about what happened with me on ES. Um, so because we came to right off the open here, I actually took this long. Took this long. Ended up at 9:30, and I ended up moving my stop loss and taking a short stop because it was playing around in here, and which actually ended up being good because as you can see, we shot down to test the 6,000, and it was playing. So I ended up cutting the trade and only took like 2 point loss. I just did not like the way it kept moving, and it just refused to push up. And so I took the short loss, but I went over to NQ and actually I got long, as well in here and end up pushing up, um, as well. But I actually end up cutting the trade um, because I'm in the combine, so I wanted to make sure I lock profits. So I only ended up taking about 20 points in that trade when I could have really just held and let it push up to the highs of the day. But that was all I did on NQ. I just freaked out and I cut the trade. I should have stayed in it. Kind of is what it is, on that. And then oil, this was the crazy one that I took, here. And it was funny because we was talking about entries and I was using this one, as an example. And it's like, you're not trying to pinpoint accurate pick where you enter the market. You want to have a zone of where it looks nice to take the trade. So what you wanted to do, and which I did, is have a stop right here. I actually thought I was going to get stopped out, and actually didn't. And it was here because I knew I wanted to get in here. And so when you see it, that's 15 ticks, and I wanted a 3 to 1. Well, as y'all saw this morning, I took this trade and I literally just kept riding it up and then trailing my stop. But I ended up getting fully out here at the highs. So ended up being a great trade, 3 to 1. Took that trade. That was all I did for oil. Didn't do anything else on oil. I took a couple trades here on GC, and so once again, if you go back and watch the live, this is what I was looking for, guys. I wanted to get in here. It came down to test, and we was coming right into the open. Well, I didn't want to take the trade coming into the open, and it had me a little nervous. And I know because sometimes it shakes out, and I just didn't want to take the trade. So I didn't take here, which also if I would have took here, um, I literally would have had my stop right below here. So literally 4 points if I would have took here and just kind of rolled it up. And what I was looking for to see what it did here, which it overshot um, and came up here. So that would have been a super sweet trade if I would have took it then. I actually didn't. I didn't take it then. Um, I actually waited, came in, and once it broke, I came here and took the trade. And, of course, I was taking heat on it, had me super nervous, taking a lot of heat, more heat than I want. Because remember, this is a combine. So in a combine, I kind of adjust, my stops here. But it actually started pushing up, and it ended up going, up here. So I ended up getting out here, and then I sold it. And then what I ended up doing again was I wanted to test here and then get back long. When it got held up here, I got back in again and went long and took it up to here. And at that point, because I don't, remember I'm in the combine, I don't want to make too much money, right? Because I'm going in smaller. I'm actually doing micros, but I'm going in with smaller size because I don't want to make too much money. I can't make more than 4,500 in a day, which is 50%. So being conscious of that, going in smaller size, making sure that I don't do nothing crazy. Ended up being over 1,600 for the day, but that was a sweet trade. I really was looking, for here to test this 3360, which I mean, we came right up here, close enough. You know what I mean? What, 7 ticks away, or 9, give or take, but close enough, especially when you taking a trade way down here. So that's what I did, for today. I got a couple minutes here. So since I got a couple minutes, let's just kind of look. And the day isn't done. As you see, we've literally played around, pushed up, played around at the highs, and then starting to come back to this level of 6,017, which if you look across has been getting kind of a lot, been a magnet area. It just consistently keeps coming back to this area. What will I be looking for tomorrow? Which, I mean, we'll see what happens here. Honestly, I'll be looking for it to come back to test these lows. But if, of course, we can't come back here and maybe come here and take a bounce back up and bounce back above the highs. We haven't, we struggling here. We're breaking the highs barely here, but I needed to hold and then start pushing up to the upside. Otherwise, I'll be looking for it to break this 6,850. If we can break below that, I would love to take that because I think that we could, worst case, we can go back and test these lows here, and that would be a sweet trade for me. But once again, we'll see what happens here. And I'll let you guys know, especially because I'm going to go live again tomorrow to kind of talk through it. NQ, some of the same sentiments here. As y'all see, we come up on the highs. We played around. It just didn't want to continue to the upside. And now we're kind of pushing back down. I would like to see it come and test here. If we can break this area and hold, I think we'll now finally start to try to push lower to go and test the lows, the overnight lows there. And it's pushing down pretty strong now. So we'll see. Oil, oil is literally pushing up, and it's starting to take back some of this old area, right? This was a key factor when we pushed up above here, came back for the retest. Oh man, sweet trade there. And now that was one of the main levels we broke, and then we broke this level as well and pushed up to the upside. I would love to see us, kind of start to go up north and test the 66 area. We'll see what happens. If not, I would love for us to come back and retest in this area and see how we hold, if we hold it, and then now get a bounce back up to the upside. I don't know. We'll see what happens here, but this 6482 will definitely be a key area to watch tomorrow for me to see if we stay above or we break below. We'll see what happens there. All right, last one. We're doing great on time. Let's go over here to gold. So gold, what am I looking for on gold? Gold as well right now looks to be pushing back down. But this level right here, I will be very interested in. We're coming to it. We're in the afternoon, but so I would want to see what happens here. This area will be a key component for me. If we can break below this and hold below, I honestly would be looking for us to start to go once again to try to test these lows. And I'm really, really looking for that possibility for us to go back to this 32.95 area. Um, and that would be what I would really be looking for, the sweetness in a trade there. If not, um, I'll be looking for us to hold this area and then continue to the upside and then see if we can push back, over this 33.62 area. Let me see. Let me go to the 4-hour for us and see what we see in here. As you can see, I'm like I said, I'm real interested to see if we can break that. But I would more love for us to go back to the upside and see if we can start to, test some of this area back to the upside, especially this 33.77 area. We'll see what happens there. All right. That's it for me, man. Hopefully y'all had a positive day trading. Hopefully you guys are learning. Hopefully you guys are executing. One thing I've always learned, it's not about the strategy, it's about the execution. And so if you are executing, properly, then everything's gonna work out. It takes time, man. I'm pretty sure just about any trader that trade will tell you it takes time, and you have to get your mental together when you're trading. That's the way that everything is going to start making sense. Whatever that looks like, any strategy, you have to learn how to form. We can study charts all day long, but I'm telling you, you get your mental around how you trade, and that's what I tell people. Teach your strategy, but get your mental around that trading. And then once you do that, you're going to be sweet. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you tomorrow. And